We all know that feeling. Sweaty palms, pit in your stomach, your mind goes blank, and you're about to speak in front of a group. I want to talk to you about that today. Welcome back to the Help for Leaders podcast. I'm Stacey Harris. Before we get started in today's episode, click here to subscribe, hit that thumbs up, share this episode. I'd love for you to comment as well. So, what are we talking about? Public speaking, speaking in front of a team, doing some kind of live conversation with people, whether it's virtual or in person. You know, that's what I do. That's a big part of my job. And it has been for almost 30 years. But you know what? It hasn't always been easy for me. And so I want to share kind of my story, my journey into what I'm doing now, and also kind of normalize some of the feelings, the emotions, the sweaty palms, the heart kind of racing, even the mind going blank as you're about to communicate to your team, or maybe it's thousands of people, because I've spoken to small groups, I've spoken before large audiences, I've been doing it a lot behind a camera the past 2 years. And you know what? Emotions happen. We feel before we think, and we can't always control those feelings. And so we've got to learn how to navigate, because you know what? Adrenaline, all of those emotions that are flooding your body, you can actually harness those to your benefit. But if you don't understand what's going on, it can really pull you back. Fear is real when it comes to speaking to other people, especially if you're younger and not as experienced. And so my first memory of speaking in front of people was 7th grade, Mrs. Campbell's class. We had to do poetry, I can't even say the word, recitation. Is that the word? Recitation, reciting poetry. And every month. And I remember the first month, we were all kind of fumbling through that. And then the second month, I hit a home run. Mrs. Campbell was literally on her feet, you know, tears flowing, and I'm not being dramatic. And she gave me 100. She said she had never given any student 100 before. Would you like me to recite my poem? Anybody? In Flanders Fields. I'm not going to recite it, but I can still to this day recite that poem. And she had me come in every class period throughout that day and recite it to that particular class. And I remember just feeling like, this is amazing. This is great. I mean, it was also like 60 seconds as opposed to, 60 minutes. It also set me up the bar really high. The next month, I don't even think I could remember all of the words to the next poem. But fast forward to high school, I'm in 9th grade. It's biology class, Mrs. Asher. I'm doing a book report on botulism. I'm halfway through the report. My hands start shaking. My voice is quaking. I feel like I'm going to hyperventilate. I cannot even get through it. And all of a sudden, tears are about to fly down my face. I get through it. I run to my desk. She's like, do you need to go to the bathroom? I was like, please get me out of here. Like, I did not know what was happening. I had never experienced anything like that before. And then also in 9th grade algebra class, Mrs. Woodard, we have to do a speech. I'm like, it's algebra. It's math. Why are we doing this? Anyway, that was my story through high school. Let me just get through this. And I realized if I could speak really fast, those emotions wouldn't hit me quite so hard. Then in college, I was like, I don't want to speak. I just don't want anything to not have to speak in front of other people. And then I get this job. And my mentor began to see something in me, and he said, I'm going to help you. We're going to do this. And so he began just doing small things here and there and really training me in how to overcome that fear. It was fear that I was experiencing, to be able to share my story. And so I want to just share some of those tips with you today. So one thing that he began to teach me is your brain actually cannot differentiate excitement necessarily opposed to fear. We're feeling all the emotions, because I would be excited about the topic that I was going to speak on, but then I would also be experiencing all those butterflies and those sweaty palms and all of the things. And so he would have me backstage, he would pull me to the side, and he would say, get in your Wonder Woman pose. You know the pose, hands on your hips, feet spread apart. chin lifted, and he would kind of coach me through this mantra. But there is something about opening up your chest and really taking in deep breaths that can help calm your central nervous system and really get your oxygen to your brain so that you're thinking. And then I would practice, honestly, practice. And it doesn't always get easier, but you do start learning some tricks and some things. Now, there's one thing that I can already feel happening on my chest. And I don't know if you can see it, but I can feel it. And I've got some red splotches. And that's why I wanted to film this episode today. First off, right off the bat, because I knew when I very first get in the rhythm of speaking, this starts to happen. So normally when I speak, I wear a higher neck shirt because when I was younger, oh my gosh, it was so bad. It would crawl up my neck onto my cheeks. It would literally look like I had been slapped. And it would be any kind of emotion, whether I was afraid, whether I was excited, whether I was, laughing hysterically or crying and sobbing. This would happen. And maybe it happens to you. I know my poor daughters, they both inherited this beautiful gene of the red splotches. And so I just wanted to normalize it today. It's not beautiful. I don't really feel that beautiful right now, but it's normal to feel things when we are speaking and communicating. So I really wanted to just show you, I can't actually believe I'm doing this, right now, just to say you can do hard things. You can do the things that you think maybe weren't easy, or I don't know if I'm called to do that. You are. Step into your destiny. Push past the fear of I don't have anything good to say, or maybe no one's going to listen, or maybe they're going to judge me a certain way. You have a voice. Use it. Help others, encourage others. So if you're young, and now that I'm talking about it, like I can literally feel it growing even more so. So it's probably getting even more pronounced as I'm talking. And so anyway, I just want to say, practice, stand in front of a mirror, talk to yourself, record yourself, just keep practicing. It will get easier. It has not stopped me. 30 years, I've spoken in front of thousands. I've been on stages with big names. It's pretty amazing some of the things that I've been able to do over the years. If I would have let this little red kind of thing pull me back, normally I do this. See, now you can't really see it that much. Or I just don't wear a lower cut shirt. I just know what's going on inside of my body. You figure out what you need to do to overcome those obstacles and step in. I hope this is helpful for someone. Maybe you see all these speakers and you're like, they're so polished. They have it all together. It's not hard for them. I want to tell you, every single speaker is a human being that has very real human emotions, and we all feel things differently. It gets easier with time. I'm going to film 5 episodes today. Spoiler alert. By the 5th one, none of this will be happening. Probably even by the 2nd one, this will be way calmed down. But this first time, every time, and I've been filming this podcast for a year now, but every single time, the first episode, I feel it. I feel the emotions. I can have the sweaty palms. Not really anything going on butterfly-wise, but it's the sweaty palms and the heat on the chest that I know, wow, my amygdala is kicking in. It's telling me something is going on. It's maybe even remembering Mrs. Asher's biology class, that botulism report, but I haven't let that stop me. I keep stepping in every single time with every client, with every speaking engagement, with every keynote, and saying, you know what? I have something to share. I have a voice. I have a message. I want to teach other people how to communicate, and don't let emotion hold you back. I hope you've learned something today, maybe even normalized some of the things that you feel when you stand up in front of your team or in front of a large audience to speak, and realize that you too can do it. So thanks for joining me this week. Hope you've learned something. Maybe I've normalized a little bit of the emotions that we all feel when we're speaking. Join me next week for more Help for Leaders. If you enjoyed this episode and would like more information on emotional intelligence, behavioral styles, or communication, I'd love for you to click here to watch more episodes. And we'd also love for you to click here to subscribe so you're notified each week when we post more content.